Speaking to journalists at the Ministry of ICT, Honorable Kabyanga revealed that several consultations have been held with stakeholders and discussions are underway to reach a logical conclusion on the matter. He acknowledged that this is not the first time journalists have resorted to boycotting coverage of security agencies due to safety concerns.
We have done several consultations, and consultations are still going on between the various stakeholders. I'm just waiting for my minister to come back from the presidential tour so that now we can sit and continue with discussions and come to some logical conclusion. But I'd like to inform the general public and mainly the journalists that we shall handle, because it's not the first time that the journalists have been on such a strike. We shall sort it out. We shall sort it out. And I think by next week, we shall be having a position.
The minister emphasized the critical role of journalists in society, calling for their respect and protection.
If police can even compensate the medical bills and whatever, it really implies that probably individuals who brutalized the journalists, police was not in for brutalization of journalists. So that shows you that there is no impunity at all. So I strongly believe we shall really sit and harmonize positions. It is a very, very important stakeholder in governance, and you cannot you cannot underestimate them, because in governance people must be informed, and the first estate is very, very crucial in information dissemination.
However, he also raised concern about the evolving nature of journalism, where anyone with a smartphone can claim to be a journalist. He stressed the need to distinguish between professional journalists and others.
The whole issue is journalism has also become a bit dynamic and very strange. Now it is as if everybody who has a phone, a smartphone, and can take a few videos, he also becomes a what? A journalist. So that's where the problem is. And sometimes some of the provocations might not even be done by the professional journalists per se. They may be done by other people who are not necessarily journalists, but they are also taking what? Videos, and they are also journalists in quotes, because they are also disseminating what? Information. So probably what we need now is to really see how we can separate the professional journalists from these other journalists.
As the country heads towards the 2026 general elections, Honorable Kabyanga says that his ministry is committed to working closely with the Electoral Commission to provide training for journalists on election coverage to prevent similar incidents.
Also to liaise, because for us as Ministry of Information, we are not in charge of organizing elections. The Electoral Commission is the one in charge. So I think what has happened, Electoral Commission, we need to liaise with the Electoral Commission, and we see how we can identify the journalists. And then two, they are also taken for orientation in election news gathering. Because sometimes when you tell journalists that, some of them say, no, for us we are the experts. I mean, learning doesn't what? Doesn't end. You might be an expert in journalism, but you may not be an expert in election in election news gathering.
Julius Momza, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.